B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none. Next item.
C, approve the September 2023 meeting minutes.
Is there a motion?
So move.
It's been moved by Commissioner Kineslik, supported by Commissioner Basham. All those in favor, please vote yes.
Motion carried.
Next item.
D, unfinished business, item 1, forwarding the August 2023 Enterprise Resource Planning Connect 43 Program Status Report.
All right, so we passed this at our last meeting, and we do have someone from the administration here to talk to us about this today. Name and title for the record, please.
Through the chair, Mike Jameson, Project Director for Connect 43.
Okay, great. I'll have you start us out with a your report, and then we'll go to questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the August performance report for the Connect 43 project. It's essentially a continuation of the steering committee decks that we provide each month to leadership around the county. And it's giving you an understanding of where the project is in terms of the major milestones. Just highlighting from the August report, overall, we are at a level of attention, and that is primarily due to issues that we've experienced in completing the conversion and validation process of the project. And to kind of jump into a question I received that goes to that point, because conversion validation is delayed, we're essentially 2 months delayed versus an initial 3 weeks. It affects the downstream components of the milestones that come after it, namely the PP3 systems integration testing, as well as parallel payroll processing, and then user acceptance testing. So why items are at risk is, at the time in August, we were evaluating whether we could potentially still meet the planned deadlines by making some adjustments versus the ones that we knew would be delayed, which were the next 2 major milestones after conversion validation. And so that's why those items were labeled at risk, where the other 2 items were labeled delayed.
Okay. Right. I have some questions, and I'm not sure if any other commissioners have questions. So you talked about data conversion
Yes.
and conversion validation. Can you explain to me the difference between is there a difference between data conversion validation, and data integration?
So they're parts of the same process. So what you're doing in conversion validation is you're taking your legacy system data and extracting it. So in this case, we're in the human capital management phase, which is our HR system. So we're in PeopleSoft. We're extracting the data from PeopleSoft, and part of the validation process is to say, there's a design that we're going to put into Oracle, but before we put it into Oracle, we need the subject matter experts to review the data that's extracted and make sure that that data is complete, timely, and accurate. And so that's the validation of the conversion validation part. The conversion is Oracle has its own format that the data has to be put into to be successfully loaded into Oracle. So once that extract from PeopleSoft is validated, it's then put into a template, essentially. That's the conversion. And then it's uploaded into Oracle. Then once it's in Oracle, there's a second check of validation to say, okay, for example, I loaded 1,000 records, did 1,000 records load into Oracle. Now spot check subject matter expert, the data in Oracle against the data in PeopleSoft, and make sure that things tick and tie. Where we particularly ran into issues is in the extract validation, and essentially from a high level, and I gave the example at our town hall of on the HGTV show, when you kind of knock a wall down, you don't necessarily know what you'll find. And so what we were finding is some of the data, particularly the historical data, wasn't as clean as as we hoped. So there was some data cleansing that's been going on along with the validation to ensure that we're putting good data into Oracle. And that's what's created the time delay.
Does that data cleansing have to be done manually?
So yes, on the front end, and to level set, that's a process that we'll do for JD Edwards when we're in the ERP phase. Because budget doesn't have a legacy system and it essentially is more Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, it's less cumbersome because you don't have to go through a legacy system, download and then manipulation to upload into Oracle. But that process is essentially consistent across all the waves. We just happen to be in the HR phase. And, the key is to make sure that you don't put bad information into the new system.
Okay.
Is that clear? Ray?
Ask Tim.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Coleen.
on that. Is that all our people doing that work, or does Oracle do some of that work too? And
Good question. So it's a team effort. So,
Okay.
so basically where Oracle comes in is they're responsible for making sure the SMEs understand the format that the data has to be in. And then once the SME essentially says, this extract is good, Oracle then takes that information, puts it into the format, loads it into Oracle, then contacts the SME and says, hey, it's in Oracle. Now I need you to do the secondary check, Oracle versus legacy system, and make sure that it ticks and ties.
Well-
You said a SME?
A subject matter
Oh,
expert.
so, okay.
So those would be our Wayne County,
right,
colleagues who are, in various areas of the project.
well, I certainly appreciate the size of this. Right? The fact that it has to be done. And, you suggested when you knock out a wall in your house, you don't know where you're gonna find. Well, we've got something a lot larger than that. So I'm not overly concerned. Timelines are not gonna go smoothly with a project like this. We're gonna find stuff as we
That's
go through, right? And that doesn't concern me too much, right? If it takes more time than we think, but we have to have it right at the end of the day, right?
Completely agree.
Completely. So I'm not too excited when timelines get busted a little bit just because of the size and the complexity of this program. So I wish you good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Don't really want to wish you long hours, but that's going to come with it too, and has been, I'm sure. So appreciate the report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Basham.
And that just basically is the import export capabilities, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Essentially what you're doing is ensuring that the data is cleansed before you load it into Oracle.
I have a question regarding staffing. So I think on some of these reports, it was mentioned that staffing has been an issue. Is that within Wayne County that we just don't have enough people on our teams and our departments to work on these conversion validation or the data conversion? Or is that a staffing issue within our contractors? Which I guess it would have been Guidehouse and now Oracle.
Yeah, no, it's not a staffing from a vendor, external vendor. Last month, we formally transitioned to Oracle from Guidehouse. Really what that's getting at was multi-pronged. One, you have people who really understand the legacy system and the legacy data, and there's always kind of a push-pull between the time it takes to get somebody new in and train them up, the day-to-day responsibilities that person still has, they still have to process payroll, as an example, and then the time dedicated to, an effort like this, which is essentially kind of going through a cleansing effort of the data as you're extracting it from PeopleSoft. Right now, I think we have around 5 open positions through the staffing contract with Pierce Monroe. We're actively, providing candidates for review. We've onboarded about, I'd say 3 or 4 over the last month or so. So the process is picking up, but there's still kind of that guide path where the resource is in, but they have to be trained and they don't have that backdrop of the Wayne County system and historical information. So there's still kind of a ramp up period where they're not going to be kind of, 100% up to speed. when they get, when they hit the ground. So that's all part of the process. And I did this at the city of Detroit. We went live with Oracle Cloud and we had similar issues, and staffing always is a tricky one. But overall that, I would say that the Wayne County folks have been committed. We just finished a meeting earlier this morning. They're working long hours. Part of my job is to try and help, decrease some of that. But we're kind of in the thick of it. And so, ultimately we're, as it stands now, 95% converted. And, that's not a bad tick mark. It's just really now kind of getting over that remaining 5% to move on to the next phase.
Which is probably the worst stuff.
Right.
And then, so the payroll test cycle has also, it's been delayed, but
Yeah.
I don't want to say, I'm assuming. Is it correct to say that we can't really do a payroll test cycle until we get all of the
You gotta have the
data?
data in Oracle.
So, okay.
That, right. And I'll not to go too technical, but essentially what would happen would be the data is loaded in Oracle, it's validated. We then go into testing, like literally running the processes that we would run in PeopleSoft in Oracle. And we have both Oracle and our Wayne County SMEs doing that test. Toward the end of that, once people have kind of, said, hey, the tests are passing, we then start running the payroll in Oracle and PeopleSoft. And then we essentially look at both and say, okay, where do we have variances? And then you tick and tie the variances and work through whatever variances. You do that 2 more times. And what we were potentially evaluating was, do we shorten one of the cycles? And ultimately we don't want to, that you can't play around with payroll. That would be how I say it. So we've decided not to do that, but it's a cascading effect. So once you kind of get the delay in an earlier milestone, if you can't make up the time reasonably, it trickles down and delays the remaining milestones.
Okay. Have there been any, have any of the delays been because of the change from Guidehouse to Oracle?
No.
Or was that just a,
Yeah, we were
Oracle.
delayed well before that change was made. Honestly, this is really the first time folks are looking at that volume of data, and you have to go through it. You have to go through it and make sure it's right before you load it into the system. Otherwise, you rinse and repeat the same processes, one system to the next.
that was all I had. Any other commissioner questions? Items I'm concerned on the Connect 43. Okay. This is a receive and file. Can I have a motion to receive and file? Oh, it's already been moved and supported. Please vote on your screens.
Motion carried.
Thank you for joining us.
I'll get back to work.
Dive
Dive into some data.
Get back to that data.
Clean it up.
conversion. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 1, under new business, requesting commission approval of a 2-year addendum to a cooperative software terms and conditions contract with a 3-year option to renew with LCP Tracker for software services and implementation to replace the vendor management and certification system for the Office of Corporation Counsel, Human Relations, Business Inclusion Division.
Is there anyone here for this item? Okay, all right, please join us at the table. I just had one question. I was trying to understand, is this system to replace TCM? Name and title for the record, please.
Hi, Jaya Amore, Deputy Director, Human Relations Business Inclusion Division.
So I just wondered, is this to replace the TCM system?
It is to replace it. Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
All right, great. Any questions on item number 1?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Kling.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay. How long have we had this company now?
We've been trying, well, Victoria was, the deputy, and she was trying to get it through for a while now, but we actually don't have the system yet.
Approval of a 2-year addendum. If they're not
No, this is,
number 1, new business, right?
Through the chair, Joe Slazak, policy analyst. This is a new contract with the company. The reason why it's an addendum to the MyDeal contract. We have a base contract in, MyDeal, and this is an addendum to MyDeal.
But this is the first time this company is gonna do this tracking.
That is
Or-
correct, sir. Yes.
Was that because you didn't like the old system? You needed something new?
The old system was never something that was conducive to our division. Is actually was more work. And the system constantly breaks down and, we're completely electronic.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes when the system is down, we can't do our work. And the payment system's down, we physically have to collect checks and walk them over to the treasurer's office because the link is always down. So it's never been something that we wanted.
Yeah. How long did we have TCM for? I sort of remember when that came in.
Was it 2016, 2017, maybe?
Yeah, you only had it for a few years.
Yes,
And
but
at
it's,
that time, I was all in favor because it's like, yeah, I see the need for,
yeah.
so that didn't pan out. So
It did
now we're
not
gonna
pan
go to
out.
These folks.
No, because the system we had prior to this one, we could put the data in and the computer would generate the certificate and send the form to the vendor, but now we have to actually physically manually put the data in, create the certificate ourselves, and then send the information to our vendors. Whereas the other system was automated and so this will be.
Well, I'd love to hear back in a year or so, like, okay, this vendor is doing the trick. These things are so important.
Yes,
But I think it's good that this body not only approves these things,
Mhm.
but also gets the feedback. Because I didn't get any indication that I remember that the TCM system was not doing it for you.
no, it's
Uh,
never been good.
Because in the end, we got to appropriate the money. So I want to make sure that in your department, it's doing what you think it should be doing for you.
Yes, yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Anyone else? Okay. All right, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve this item? Yeah, I'll make the motion. Okay,
Or. We're there.
we'll just vote on everything
Because it's a
separate.
machine, that's why.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Clark Coleman, supported by Commissioner Basham. Please vote.
Let's do it.
Motion carried.
Thanks for joining us. Okay, next item.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of a 4-year comparable source contract with a 1-year option to renew with No Ink to provide election night reporting services for the clerk's office.
Okay, was there any questions on this item? Commissioner Basham. Of
course.
Is there anyone here for this item? If you could join us at the.
Yes,
Yeah.
hi, this is Dwayne. I'm sorry, I had another meeting. I couldn't make it, but I'm here online though.
Okay,
Ooh.
can you state your full name and title for the record?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Dwayne Sills. I'm Chief Deputy Clerk. I'm here on behalf of Wayne County Clerk, Madam Clerk Garrett.
Okay, great. Commissioner Basham?
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you think I'm sleeping when I see a comparable source contract. So could you explain the comparable source? Thank you.
Yes, through the chair, Commissioner Basham. This is a company that is actually going to do is provide election night reporting. It's going to allow municipalities as well as individuals to go online and see almost in real time how the votes are going. And this is the only company in this area that actually provides this services. So that's why it was a comparable source, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other questions? Can I get a motion?
Sure.
Moved by Commissioner Colleen, supported by Commissioner Clark Coleman. Please vote.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next item.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of a 5-year master sales and services agreement addendum with Canon Solutions America to provide a countywide print managed service, including multifunction printers, devices, and maintenance.
All right, I just had a quick question for our fiscal department. There looked like there were some questions or concerns on the packet. Were all those answered for you sufficiently? No, Mary, it's not here, but Terrence, are you all set? Okay. Commissioners, any questions on item number 3? No. Okay. All right, is there a motion?
Yes.
Moved by Commissioner Basham. Supported by Commissioner Colleen. If there's no more discussion, please vote.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next item.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I have none. Next item.
G, public comments.
Is there anyone who wishes to address the Committee on Government Operations? Either here or on the phone or on Zoom? Can we receive any emails?
No emails.
Second call for public comments. Last call. Hearing none. Next item.
Adjournment.
Or motion to adjourn?